Hey, what's up everyone, Morey here, and the goal of this video is to create the best acceleration video for you to be able to quickly improve your acceleration. First thing that we're gonna go over is gonna be how to get better within your first 4 steps or first 5 yards. I think that's the best measurement when it comes to acceleration. It's a lot of times ends up being the first like 5 to 10 yards, but I really think being able to quantify what we want to be doing within those first 4 steps, which is essentially the first 5 yards, is going to be critical. We're going to also go over exercises and drills that you could do. But we're going to start off with what I think is going to be the most important, is being able to properly set up a system for you to be able to see the improvement within your sprinting. Okay, so just to see an example of running this here, you can see first 4 steps as I'm accelerating. First steps hitting about that yellow cone, then green, then blue, then yellow, a little bit past all of them. I'm going to show the measurements here so then you know exactly where to set all these up to make it so then you can get the best results. Again, the real goal is just to be able to get this at 5 yards. So that yellow cone is a little bit past 5 yards. I think if you can just set that up to make it so your first 4 steps you're able to cover that much distance, it's going to really help you out. All right, so getting it set up like this I think would be fairly easy. You can kind of see what we have going on here. So this is the start cone, and it's a little bit, you can see the cone's a little bit past 1 foot. I usually just use that 1 foot mark as the way to measure it here. So that is where my initial foot's going to be, and then you can see where I'm landing is a little bit past probably a yard, right? Because we want to be able to get, or when I'm landing, you want to probably get at least a yard in that first step. But with how my first step ends up being, it ends up being a little bit past a yard. And then we have my second step here, and this one's going to be a little bit more than 2 yards. So 2 yards would be at about that 7 foot mark. This one's going to be, again, like 8 foot, so it's going to be about 2 yards and 1 foot. And then this one we have at a little bit past 12 feet. So again, that 13 foot mark is going to be 4 yards there. So it's a little bit less than 4 yards. And then here, the 16 yard mark would be the 5 yard. And where I'm landing, it's a little bit past that, about halfway past that 5 yard mark. And just some real quick points when it comes to your acceleration, I would just say we want to be able to maximize the distance like we were talking about here, but also be very quick, very much be on the front part of the foot, and also maintain a forward lean. Those are all going to be really important. A big part of being able to help you do that is just going to be as you're landing, the best that you can, you want to have your knee out in front of the toe, and you want to be able to keep that heel up the best you can. That's going to be challenging to do when you're trying to get a lot of distance. It's going to be challenging to be able to keep yourself forward. It's going to be challenging to be able to continue to land on the front part of the foot and be very quick off of that. A lot of times we'll see people have a tendency of wanting to land more flat-footed or more towards the heels, or also stand up a little bit more. So try not to do that. The best way to be able to help you assist that is being very quick with the arm swing, being very deliberate with the arm swing. If you're going side to side and wasting the motion, then again, that's going to make it so you start landing more towards the back part of the foot. So just a couple tips when you're watching yourself and as you're setting up the cones and working on the acceleration. What are some of the things you want to be looking for within your video? Next, we're going to go into the 2 main drills that I do to be able to help work on the acceleration. And really, this is just helpful in speed in general, but really to me, this ends up being really important when you are accelerating. The first thing being just working on your hip flexors, right? So I like this exercise in general. So this is just getting my knee up. You can see how I have everything set up here. A lot of gyms have a pulley system like this where you just need a strap to put onto your ankle, lift up the knee and extend. Okay, just like so. If you don't have something like this, there are a lot of different options. You could also go here, and this is another one of my favorites here, where you're just working on driving off of that back foot and lifting up. This might be something that's a little bit more attainable, where you could just come and push off the ground. Again, you could use some of these like longer bands as well. These are very easy to get on like Amazon or something like that. You can just wrap that around the ankle and would be able to work on the pull. For this, I'm just really working on pushing off the back leg, driving that knee up, so it ends up being a both push off within my calf and within my foot, as well as a knee drive within the hip flexor. This really makes it so I can translate into running quicker. I do want to have a little bit of a forward lean as I'm doing this. If I just have smaller bands like this, what you could do is, this one's a little bit longer of the 2, like there's one that's like a shorter option, this one's longer. I'm gonna just go here and really just do the same type of thing. So I have one part of the band on my knee, the other part onto the ankle, and I'm just extending, I'm working on. And the reason I like doing this is because when the knee is the same height as the hip, that puts a lot of pressure on that rectus femoris in your hips to be able to work on this. I know this looks easy. I work on this a lot. This is very challenging to be able to do. And so a lot of people can get a lot of benefit by working on that. So the next thing is just gonna be wall drills. You can picture this being a wall here with the treadmill. It's warm outside, so I am doing everything inside here, but this should just end up being a wall. I'm gonna start off with the band here with just being able to work on being able to lift up through here. Big thing with this is make sure you're on your toes. I see people all the time, they wanna do this, and then they wanna be rounded in their back. You don't wanna round in your back, you wanna be here, nice and flat. Push those hips down, and then drive up through the knee. Another great exercise to work on being able to accelerate effectively. If you don't have the bands, you can still get a lot out of just wall drills. And the big thing with this is as we're striking the ground, we just want to be very much on like the front part of the foot. Keep your toes up as you're hitting. And this is really being able to focus on how well you can strike the ground and maintain that heel position. So when we're working on lifting the knee up, the exercise with that, like the hip flexors, all the band stuff, that's really working on the distance. This is working on the foot contact, the foot strike, being able to land, stabilize, and be very quick. We could just do alternating with one. We could also just go here and then really drive through with the hips, get the chest all the way up. That's another one. And then the third one would just be 1, 2, 3, and just being nice and quick there. 1, 2, 3, nice and quick. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And those are really the 2 drills that you need, as well as working on what I set up with the cones, and you should be able to see improvement in your acceleration right away, especially if you start doing that over the next week, 14 days. You're gonna see a ton of improvement within your acceleration, working on the distance and the exercises to help improve the distance, as well as the foot contact, making sure you're landing on the toe, front part of the foot, and work on the wall drills to help make it so you're better with the foot contact. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you like the information, and we'll talk to you soon.